Okay, we are live, and I'm going to have a special guest, Sam, and I got to send him the link right now. So bear with me here. We're going to send Sam the link to join, and if anybody else wants to join, let me know, and we'll get a link over to you as well. Let's see here. How come I just lost that? Okay, give me a moment here. It's here. Try this again. I'm going to send it to Sam. And link to join. Show. And I'm going to send it to Clive as well, just in case he can make it. And okay, so that email's gone out. So let me go back to the Hangout window here. This is much harder to do everything when I don't have multiple monitors, which I normally have. Okay, let's see here. Rolex Grand Seiko branding. Okay, let me get that. Everything when I don't have multiple monitors. Yeah, I'll kill that. Merry Christmas, Mr. Shipper. Okay, and David's in the house. Richard's in the house. And Sam should be joining us here soon. Okay. So I'll keep an eye on that. And he brought up a subject of branding, which we've talked about before, and marketing and these sorts of things, which, excuse me, Merry and Happy Christmas to all. Looks like the audio is okay. Looks like my audio is okay. And it sounds like I hear Sam in the house. Hello,
hey,
Sam.
Merry Christmas. Thanks for having me on, man.
Hey, sure. Okay. And you sound good. You got a good picture there. Can your camera tilt down some so that there's not as much headroom over your head?
I'm not working with a very high-tech setup like you are over there. I saw you post that.
You're using your webcam.
Yeah, I'm not working with a Cat 5 cable connection either, so I'll be better prepared next time for you.
Not bad. You got a little bit of room echo because you don't have a lav mic, but yeah, you're sounding pretty good. Are you using a Windows computer or a Mac?
I'm using Windows.
You might want to look into an inexpensive lav mic that you could get that would plug into your computer.
Let me try this. I got a headset here just in case we ran into that issue. One sec. All right, you got me now?
Yeah, that does sound better. That gets rid of a lot of
a little bit better.
Yeah, that gets rid of a lot of the room noise. And
yeah, sorry about that. The office has kind of got a bad echo to it.
And folks, let me know in the chat if you're getting any feedback through my mic, because I've got him on the laptop speakers, and I can put my AirPods in and do it that way if any of that feeds back into my lab. So just let me know in the chat if that happens. And so Sam, just to like bring them up to date, let them know about the email that you sent me about the coming up with a name for the diver's watch and what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, sure. So
and also introduce yourself, because people are asking who you are.
Okay, so I'm Sam Gray from Houston, Texas, and I've been a pretty good fan of Craig's for some time now because he's the only person that's really putting out content on what I call the Grand Seiko Titan, which is the SBGA 231. That happens to be my Grail watch that I'm currently saving up for. And, you spoke to it yesterday about the advertising and marketing, which Grand Seiko is pretty much zero on that front. And I'll speak to that here in a minute. But about that email, I noticed that it's pretty common within the watch community that we love nicknames. We talk about watches using affectionate nicknames that have originated from somewhere, all of which are unknown, like i.e. the Pepsi GMT Master 2, the Hulk, the Smurf, the Snowflake, all these names that are synonymous with these iconic watches. They come from within the watch community. I've never really known where they've originated from, but I've noticed that we all love using them and they all stick. And I noticed that my favorite watch currently right now, my Grail watch, didn't have a nickname. So I wanted to dub it the Grand Seiko Titan, mainly because of the titanium, the special titanium that it's made from, and the fact that if you put it head to head versus any other watch, to me, it's the big dog in the ring. And as a social experiment, I wanted to see if we use the name Titan casually in regards to this watch, if it would pick up within the watch community and just kind of take off from there.
Yeah, I think it's super cool. I think it's a great name, and especially for my use case, because my use case is this is my wear all the time, no matter what I'm doing, heavy use watch. And that's what my sport watch and my rotation has always been. Back in the day when I had Rolexes in my rotation, it would be like a GMT Master or a Submariner. And the purpose would be to have a watch that we can wear no matter what we're doing. And it's going to be able to take a little bit of abuse here and there and still get the job done. And this takes that whole concept to a whole new level with the titanium and with the spring drive being extremely rugged because it doesn't have that escapement mechanism, which tends to be a weak point as far as shock goes on any watches. So
the silicon spring is good for anti-magnetism.
Yeah. So it'll all, I mean, time will tell the tale because this is still a relatively young watch. I think they've been out like 10 years or something, or a little longer than that. So time will tell the tale, but most experts say that it's a pretty rugged, the spring drives are pretty rugged movements. So yeah, that with the titanium and with the comfort on wrist that allows you to wear it all the time. You know, it's like the photographers have a saying, the best camera is the camera you have with you. If you're not carrying the camera, then it doesn't matter how good a camera it is, you're not going to get the shot if it's in the trunk of your car, right?
Right.
And so same thing here, the watch is worthless if it's not on your wrist, in my opinion. I mean, I don't buy watches to collect them and have them sitting somewhere, right? I buy them to actually use. And so this watch can actually be worn and used. And so I think it's a great name. Folks in the chat, let us know what you think about the name Titan. And it can be expanded to Titanium Titan. And I think what we would do is the idea would you could use it either way. You could say just Titan, or you could say Titanium Titan, either way. And so for this specific watch, if you guys think that would be a good name, wearing my Snowflake today, you know, and I think Snowflake, I think Grand Seiko actually does refer to that as Snowflake. I'm not so sure that nickname came from the watch community. I'm not sure about that, but I think they may have called it that. It'd be neat to try to find out, but the problem is, like, I do have some contacts at Grand Seiko, but half the time they don't even return my emails. And that's the next discussion we're going to get to, is the marketing or lack thereof.
That's right. You spoke to that yesterday about, their lack of marketing. I wanted to have a healthy debate with you on that one because I have mixed feelings about it, and I'll explain. I'm glad it's zero.
By the way, Sam, there's some comments in here
okay, go ahead.
I want to address. So let's just go through these real quick and then hold your thought.
Okay.
I don't like to get behind on the comments. So Richard said, I just shaved with a safety razor for the first time. Loved it. Yeah, I just shaved with mine. And I was on the 4th day, and I think the blade is starting to get a little tired. So I think I'm going to swap out the blade. Audio is good, says David Williams. Greetings from Greece. Audio okay. Good evening, one and all. Who's the new guy? We already addressed that. Mike, okay, no worries. His name is Sam, my college roommate, Teddy Morgan.
Yeah, that's my buddy Teddy. I'll share a couple stories with him.
Good. Well, maybe he can join us sometime.
Absolutely.
And we're talking about Houston. Eddie Imperial says Houston. Dave drove through Maryland last week, Craig. No clue how you can deal with the drivers in that state. You got to really time your trips. You got to time your trips. Okay, so there's a howdy in the chat. Craig, can I wear a Grand Seiko diver with a 6.6-inch wrist?
Yes.
I think the titanium one, I think it would be pretty forgiving from that standpoint. Yeah, I would not go with the stainless steel. I would definitely go with the titanium for the lighter weight. And because of the lug design and all, I think you can get away with it. But I highly recommend people go and see, touch, and feel the watches before you buy.
Absolutely.
If you possibly can. And Clay says, I've heard the SBGH255G high beat diver called Godzilla of GS watches. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the Titan name. And now here's one that says, I love the name. Okay, so we're going to have to get a vote on how many people. Give us a Y if it's a yes on Titan and an N if it's a no on Titan. Okay, give us that in the chat.
Yeah, get a poll going.
Yeah. Where's Clive? I sent Clive a link to join. It's up to him as to whether or not he comes in. Like the name Titan. I'd probably just call it the Titan. I like my Titus. Titan is too close. Which watch are they called? Is called a Titus. I don't know which one that is. Thanks, Teddy, for the advice. You're welcome. Okay, we got a Y. We got an N. We got another Y. I believe Titan could have legs. It just about sums up the ruggedness of the piece and obviously a nod to the material. Well, there we go. Steve, got 2 more Ys. Hi, anyone interested in a Snowflake 1 month used, only $4,400? You'll be, if you sell that, you'll be able to get that money for it on eBay easily. But of course, you're going to have to pay the eBay tax. So yeah, if you can find a direct buyer, you'll be better off. But you should be able to get that kind of money if all things are copacetic with it. I think any nickname has to be something to do with Japanese culture.
Yeah.
Maybe. But we're expanding beyond all that. So we got a Y, we got an N. Titan is a Toyota truck. Okay.
Just to be clear, Craig, so we could sum this up, I am not the Sam from yesterday who referred to Rolex as a Toyota. This is totally different Sam, so everybody holster your guns on that one.
Yeah. No, but there is a truck called, I think there is a Toyota truck called that. So, but that doesn't matter. You can use the same name for a watch. Swiss brand, now made in Asia. They could call it Zaratsu.
The polishing technique.
Yeah. So, okay. So you were getting ready to start talking about the marketing and branding.
Yeah. So I'm glad it's non-existent, and the reason why I'm glad is because they haven't made the mistake yet, and there is a right and a wrong way to go about the marketing. My opinion is this. I'll elaborate. What I'm glad they didn't do is I'm glad, and this is my opinion, that they didn't get an ambassador. You know, Omega has Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig and stuff like that. Great actors in their own respect, but I'm not buying a watch based off of who's wearing it. I'm buying it based off of the horological value of the watch and its own merits. So to me, what Grand Seiko has is a product that speaks for itself, and all that's needed is a educated consumer. And that's, I think, what they need to focus on. And I'm basically just going to be reaffirming things you've already said on your channel. And how they do that is they need to get it out to the masses, to knowledgeable people like yourself, maybe TGV from the Urban Gentry, people who respect and know how to appreciate the horological value of the timepiece and can speak to its merits intellectually, and inform the consumers and the public about the timepiece. And I think that's the best way that they could go about the marketing. Their product is so good. It's a tier 1 watch, and all they need to do is just give everybody the facts and educate people about the watch. Not to insult your intelligence or anything, Craig, but have you ever heard of the Beats headphones by Dre? Are you familiar with those?
No.
So what they are, a lot of the viewers will, what they are is they're considered to be a tier 1 pair of headphones, over the ear headphones, and they got earbuds, things like that. The reason why they're perceived as such is because of the name Dr. Dre. Now, if you don't know, Dr. Dre is basically the godfather of modern day hip hop and all things like that. Now, so they got the name, right? So we're going to all correlate this to watches. What they do with their money, Craig, is they spend 90% of it on marketing and 10% goes into R&D as far as making the product what it is.
So this is like the Beats headphones that you're talking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
they're not very good. You can buy a pair.
They suck.
Sony that are better. Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is that they suck. And the reason why everyone perceives them as being the best is because, one, they got the name, which Dr. Dre, I'm not taking away from him, very respectable. And they put them on celebrities, LeBron James, Ronda Rousey, UFC, basketball,
and
NFL.
They crank out a lot of bass too.
Right, yeah. And what they do with them is people see celebrities wearing these headphones and they're thinking to themselves, well, I guess they're the best. I need them too. So they go out and buy them, which is
Air Jordans are the same thing.
Yeah, which is a tactic that you use in marketing that works, but it takes away from the product. And that's what I don't want to have happen to Grand Seiko, because it's not needed.
Sam, here's the thing about all this. I think it's a moot point. I think this whole discussion is a moot point because I don't think that Grand Seiko wants to expand really much more than they already have by adding a few dealers here in the U.S. That they reluctantly did that in the first place because they kind of wanted to keep the Grand Seikos as a special thing just for some people in Japan to buy, and they were happy with that. And now they've expanded a little bit into the U.S. and into some other markets. And I think they would just as soon not even have done it, to tell you the truth. I think there's a very strange mindset with those people. And I've talked to them, and they're very, it's almost like Grand Seikos are thought of as like a national treasure that they want to protect, and that they it's very strange the way they, and the other thing is production volume. They have a very limited production capability.
They're handmade.
Even if they were smart when it comes to marketing, even if they just did some smart things, like some of the things you've mentioned, they would increase their sales tremendously, right? And they wouldn't be able to keep up. They wouldn't be able to make enough watches. So that would be the next problem that they would have. And so I think possibly this whole discussion is a moot point because they're not going to do anything to fix their marketing / branding issues, some of which could be fixed with almost no money, with just doing a few smart things, right?
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to do that because I don't think they really want to grow their base of customers.
Well, that could be a cultural thing, it could be something as simple as that.
I just think it's their mindset about the watch, that it's their baby, and that I think they're the opposite of the other brands you just mentioned. I think they put all their efforts and all their energy into the product, and they don't want to be distracted by anything else.
Exactly.
Now they will pay for some people to come over and tour their place. They actually offered to fly me over and I could tour the factory. When I did one of my first videos, it got like a bunch of views. They actually offered for me to go over, but I just can't take enough time to go over there. I would love to do it, but I just can't take the time. But they have done that for a few others, to go over and see the place and shoot some videos and stuff. And you've seen some of those videos online. So they have done a little bit of that because they're super proud of the place and of the workers and what they do. So that was more a thing of pride, right, than marketing. But it of course helped with marketing, right? But I don't think that was their real motivation for doing it. I think their motivation was, we're just proud of what we're doing, and we want to show you, and we wouldn't mind if you show, some of your subscribers, right? That type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to actual straight up marketing, I mean, I suggested some things to them when I got this watch, and I did some videos, and based on all the feedback that I got, I made some suggestions to them being the people that run the North American operations.
Uh-huh.
And they just have no interest in doing anything. Even some things that would cost them virtually nothing, like coming on some shows like this, right? I said, we should do like a monthly Grand Seiko show and have some VIPs and have some people join in and have some roundtable. They won't even do that, right?
Well, Craig, there's an AD out here, a pretty big one, Timeless Luxury, and Dan and Anna Broad Street, and they have Grand Seiko employees come out to the AD and put on a show where they assemble a Grand Seiko in front of everybody out in the open. I thought that was pretty cool.
They did that at Little Treasury. So we'll do some things like that. And at Little Treasury, when he had his watch fair, they had a guy, the Grand Seiko rep was there. He was a very nice guy, and he would love to do more, but his hands are pretty tied. And Steve is doing a lot to promote the Grand Seiko brand. The AD, but very little help from New Jersey. I mean, so and the other thing is, the people in New Jersey told me straight up that we would love to do more, but everything we do has to be approved by Japan.
Yeah.
And they just won't approve anything. And so that it is what it is. I think they're going to slowly but surely do a little bit more here and there, but I don't think we can count on much. And it's good news for somebody like you who still wants to buy one.
Yeah.
It means that you're going to be able to get one, that there won't be a waiting list.
And I'm okay with their vision and decision on that, honestly, because I don't want the money to go towards marketing that's going to make them something that they're not, or try to put on this facade, which they obviously would never do. It's a very prestigious brand. But I love the fact that all their focus and effort and money is going into the product, and it's definitely showing. So
yeah, and so I think it's all good.
I'm okay with it.
I think that what it is it's the top tier of Seiko. It's a very special product that they care deeply for. And that the fact that they're probably making some money with it is good. In other words, it's not a loss leader, right? They're probably at least breaking even. And they're probably just happy with that. They're probably just happy that they're selectively setting up some more boutiques here and there. A very slow rollout into North America and into the UK and other markets. And I think they're just very happy with that. And I can't fault them. I mean, I think it's probably okay. But I think that you're right. We need to come up with some cool names.
Well, it's very deserving of one. And the Titan to me was, it speaks to the material that's being used, that special titanium that's not going to scratch like others and things like that. So to me, it just spoke to the overall ruggedness of it. Because I'm like you, Craig. If I'm going to buy a watch, I'm going to wear the thing, and I'm going to wear it through some rough things. I got a very active lifestyle. If I'm not wearing that, it's probably going to be a G-Shock or something. So
yeah. Okay, I'm going to go through some more comments here, and then I want to talk to you about why you're focusing in on that particular watch. But hold that thought, and I'm just going to blast through the comments here. Let me see if I can get caught up. A lot of comments. You're right about turnograph. Okay. Man, there's a lot of comments. Just give me a second. I'm trying to get to the top.
Go ahead, man. No problem.
Where ones I haven't seen yet. We need somebody special just to take care of comments here. I think. Okay, spring drive is okay. Okay, let's see. Can titanium be polished? Let me still trying to get there, folks. Trying to get to the beginning. Okay. All right. Here I'm caught up. Where's Clive? Okay. All right. Thanks, Teddy, for the upvote. You're welcome. Okay. Some more yeses, a couple of no's, a bunch more yeses. Okay. All right, Titan and Godzilla seem fitting. Swiss brand. Okay, we already saw it. All right. Explorer is a name of watches and a vehicle. Yeah, good example. Can titanium be polished? Yes, but it's not easy. It's pretty hard. The alloy that they use is pretty hard stuff. But I have polished out some fine scratches on my Snowflake. And it is doable with some good.
It's an expensive process.
Yeah, you can definitely polish out some fine scratches. I've done it. Okay, the Rolex names are just plain lazy, but they've stuck. The problem I see is that there just isn't the numbers of GS spoken about within our media. I feel like they're trying to step up their marketing, targeting the everyday guy with their new Street series. Not sure what that is. Lady Gaga's Tudor doesn't phase you. Okay. The Grand Seiko doesn't have that much horological value beyond their case and index finishing. Okay. Bob's not real bright. He's been in here before. He's
yeah. You're gonna have those comments in there.
Yeah, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but we love Bob. Well said, Sam. No balance bridge. No free sprung balance. Spring drive is okay though. Yeah, it's a lot more than okay. They should send a GS to Archie. It will snap him out of his Rolex craze. He has said some great things about Grand Seiko.
Yeah.
No, it won't. You need a Rolex to be a man. That's Bob again. Any real stupid comments that I read, you can attribute them probably to Bob.
Yeah, I'm sure Pedro will show up at some point.
Yeah. No, actually, I blocked him. He got too outrageous, so he's blocked. Poor people can't will Grand Seiko to be better than Rolex. That's Bob. He's obviously broken English. Let's see, Rolex. Okay, Sennheiser and Bayer Dynamic are far superior to Beats. Okay, yeah, I don't know the Bayer Dynamic, but just a decent pair of Sony headphones are better. I use for my monitoring, I use a pair of Sony headphones, and they're great. Archie has said in the past he wanted a GS Snowflake. Absolutely, he has said that. Who wouldn't want one? I tried Beats and purchased Bose, not even the same league. Okay, just like Harley Davidson, subpar motorcycles at premium prices, all based on an image. Tudor is the Beats by Dre of watches. No one thinks Beats are good. Only people that know nothing about headphones do. Well, yeah, but that's a lot of people. As my buddy Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, says, they're what we call the 80%ers.
Yeah.
Tudor makes their own movement with full balance bridge and free sprung balance at under 40 millimeter. Okay, well, go ahead and get a Tudor. I kind of like GS, how they are underground and not seen that much in public. Well, there you go. The Black Bay 58 has a technically superior movement to any mechanical Grand Seiko. Bob comes up with the stupidest comments, doesn't he? He's great. He's got to get that diabetes under control, though. You know, you keep eating those off-brand chips and the store-bought sodas.
His troll game is strong today.
You end up with the legs thumping and all that problem. I mean, they're going to eventually have to cut your foot off. You know, that diabetes can really get bad. I wouldn't wish a Tudor on my worst enemy's wrist. Yet if someone sees you riding a BMW motorcycle you bought for less than a Harley, you're the pretentious snob, yet the Harley rider is the working man. You know the difference between a Hoover and a Harley? The position of the dirt bag. Okay, I agree. I would rather have a Rolex. Okay, Bob is a Tudor isn't in the same league as GS. Well, there you go. There's a statement of fact. Those brands, solid quality. Okay, I forget which one he's. Okay, I'm trying to find a comment that is worth us addressing, but I don't like the dials on them. Okay, Tudor's just an ugly watch. So other than that, well, you know, whatever. And it's poorly.
You said it right the other day. It's a dog watch. I mean, everybody who buys a Tudor, in my opinion, really wanted to buy something else.
And it's also not very well finished, and it's just got issues. Okay, does not come close to a spring drive. There you go. My Tudor, objectively a superior movement to any movement Grand Seiko's ever made. Where does Bob get this stuff?
I don't know.
He's funny. You know, he's funny. Craig is absolutely right about turnographs. The gold rotating bezel is money. They're also more affordable than other Rolexes. Yeah, but the word is starting to get out about them. I think you better grab one while you can if you want to get one. The word is starting to get out about those older turnographs. They did open boutiques in Hollywood and Miami, but yeah, their culture is inward looking, right? Yeah, well, they've got, I don't know, a half dozen or so boutiques in the country. I don't know how many they have, but it's not that many. And I sold Hulk and Batman to get a SBGA 231 and SBGE 201 in the future he's talking about. So Corey has sold and he's going to buy. Clarify on that, what you're doing there. A little bit confused. Spring drive is not mechanically regulated. It is not comparable to a mechanical watch. That's right, Bob. It's far superior. Okay, it's a quantum leap ahead of your typical mechanical watch. Read up and educate yourself. I've got a whole page in my website that gives you all the details. Just read. Take your time, sound out the words, and read.
See, that's what I'm talking about, though, Greg. It's a lack of education out there. I'm not going to talk bad about Rolex. It's a premium brand. But when I ask somebody, how is Rolex better than this Grand Seiko? And they say, well, because it's a Rolex. I mean, that's an answer that you get from somebody who's not educated in the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me blast through the rest of these. Fed up with Rolex, and you see them everywhere. And there were people do understand, even there were people, well, anyway, I can't read that. There's the English, I can't. Okay, Corey, get out of the soon deflating Rolex market. Absolutely, sell while you can, guys. Anybody that has multiple steel Rolexes, sport Rolexes, get out of them while you can. In 2 years, a steel Rolex will be a steal. Smooth sweeping secondhand. Also, no need for service ever. That's right. I'm not going to service mine. I'm not saying that Rolex sucks, but is extremely inflated due to the marketing. Well, when they make a nice looking watch, Spring drive still needs to be serviced like any other movement. No, 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 no.
No, it does not.
First of all, a Rolex, you shouldn't service it until you actually have problems, and that could be 20, 25 years.
That's a huge misconception, Greg. Everyone thinks that they got to take it in every so often, and you're just throwing your money down the toilet.
Exactly. And if you look at my video on the subject and you see all the stupid comments, and then you see a bunch of people going in there saying, hey, he was right. I mean, I've had mine for 20 years and it's never been serviced and it runs fine. And there's a whole bunch of examples in there of people that have done exactly that, and people that have waited 20, 25 years and taken it in for service, and they didn't have to pay any more than if they'd had it serviced after 5 years. Price is the same. So why in the hell would you have it serviced sooner?
Again, that's an education thing.
Yeah. For those visiting Las Vegas, the watch boutique, Venetian is GS AD in Nevada. There you go. David, do they have a pretty good selection? The watch isn't the same as the $200 one in the mall. Okay, yes, they're bracelets and clasps of superior quality, but rather than that, nothing much. What's of superior quality? Great selection. Okay, good. You're not going to get burned like other Jamokes. Seiko will never make it. Bob again. You can tell Bob's comments. Those who bash GS have never seen one in public or handled one. That's probably correct.
That's probably true.
Quality. Quality over quantity. Is GS trying to preserve its exclusivity? From what I understand, the Japanese are a very proud culture. I don't know what their motivations are. I think they just don't care.
It could have something to do with that, though.
Yeah. Well, they look at it as a national treasure. They really do. Let's see. What watch is Sam wearing?
I'm wearing the Seiko Patty Turtle SPRA 21.
Mm-hmm.
Leather strap. I wear leather straps in wintertime.
Okay. And to me, the spring drive is a miracle and it's a superior movement. That's from Corti. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, stop commenting for the moment or else the chat will jump on Craig. My Grand Seiko diver Godzilla is so comfortable. It's the first watch I've ever liked so much. I sleep wearing it. It's taking up the majority of my wrist time. It feels like the makers really cared. So which model diver do you have, Clay? Bob is great. If you want a great watch, you should educate yourself. Well, there you go. My father's 1967 Datejust 1601 has been serviced once in 2001 and is still keeping excellent time. Servicing is a myth. Okay, we're finally caught up. So now what we wanted to talk about is your choice, why you've kind of honed in on this diver, the titanium spring drive Grand Seiko.
The Titan.
The Titan.
That's right. So you spoke to it once about comfortable on the wrist. And, one thing that you've been pushing out there religiously is don't buy anything until you've had it on the wrist. Go see it in an AD. If you know somebody that has one, go put it on. If you can get away with it, see if you can borrow one from a buddy, try it on, things like that. Definitely put it on the wrist. Me, Teddy, and Chuck, two really good friends of mine, went to Timeless Luxury. Like I said before, Dan and Anna Broad Street, the owners there, really nice people.
How far are they from you?
I'm about 4 hours and some change away. So I drove from Houston to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and that's where their new location is now. And I'm telling you, I haven't been to the AD that you always talk about with Steve, but man, Timeless Luxury is second to none as far as ADs go. They treat you like family. Every customer is the most important person there. really good people. So we go there, and I go with the intent to try on some Omegas. And I see the Grand Seiko
Now,
boutique over there.
how long ago was this? So should we know the timeline on this?
This was earlier this year.
Okay.
I had been a fan of the Grand Seiko Titan for some time now, before I was even introduced to your channel. And that's actually how I found your channel. Was I wanted more content on the Titan. So I was looking it up, and you're the only one out there really putting anything of substance on the watch. So I asked him to take it out, and I was really interested in it because of the spring drive and the titanium. I put it on my wrist, and it literally just disappeared. It was the most comfortable watch I had put on it anywhere. And the thing is I gave it to Teddy. He was standing right there. I said, Teddy, you got to try this on. And he slips it on, and he gets real big-eyed and looks at me. And at the same time, in unison, we both said, you could wear this all day long. And that was when I pretty much fell in love with it. I've tried it on 3 different times since then, just fallen in love with it. But it's an excellent watch.
Already sized close enough to your wrist size to where it didn't have a lot of slop. It fit decently when you tried it on?
It did. Did have extra links and extra half links with it, but it had already been pretty close to my size. I got kind of a big wrist, so it was pretty close, but felt amazing.
What size is your wrist?
I think it's about 6.5.
Well, no, it's probably bigger than that. If it's
yeah, well, it's been a while since I've done it.
It's probably bigger than 6.5.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 7.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
I'm 7.25. Okay. And one thing that I noticed when I first tried it on, I didn't particularly like the clasp. I thought it was too bulbous.
Yeah.
And I was like, darn, they could have refined that more. Now that I've worn it for a while, I'm like, it's the greatest clasp ever. I like, don't take my clasp away, right? Because I often extend it, and all I have to do is just lift
on the wrist.
I just lift up that lock and I just extended it.
Yeah, people don't get how huge that is, being able to adjust it on wrist. That's a big deal.
And especially in the summertime when I'm in and out of air conditioning, and I go out into a nice hot humid day, your wrist expands. That is just so convenient. That plus the micro adjustments, right? So what I do is when the wintertime comes, I've got it right now on the one from the tightest as far as the micro adjustments. I've got 2 more I can loosen it, okay, for the summertime, but I usually only loosen it out 1 more on the micro adjustments. And then as needed on the fly, if I need a little extra room, I can just use this extension. And I love it. I love the way it works. I use it all the time. And it's just, the fact that it's a little bit bulbous has kind of just disappeared on me. I don't even notice it. And like people complain about having the power indicator on it, the 3-day power indicator.
Yeah.
And it's like that just disappears. You don't notice that. When you're using the watch on a daily basis, it's just there. I mean, it's not distracting at all. When you see a watch, a big, huge picture of a watch on a computer screen, like a macro shot of the watch, everything on that face looks huge. And the power indicator looks huge. And it looks like it might be distracting in real life, right?
Yeah.
You've got to see and play with the watches in person. You've got to see what they're actually going to look like on wrist and how it's going to actually function on wrist to really know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, you speak the truth on that. I heard a lot of people say that they wish the power reserve indicator was on the back.
Yeah.
And, when I put it on, it didn't, to me, take away from the dial layout or design at all.
Yeah, it's not even noticeable. And the hands are so legible. That's the other thing. When you see the macro shots of it, the hands, the design of them and all, I can take or leave the design. They could be a little simpler design. I would be fine with that. But again, in real life, the design looks fine. And they just look great, and they're very readable. And that's the main reason why I got a diver's watch in the first place, is the legibility. If I don't have my reading glasses on, which is often, right, I can still read it, no problem.
Yeah.
I could not say the same with the Snowflake. The Snowflake, you know, unless it was really good light, I couldn't read it without my reading glasses. And so that's the primary reason I ended up selling that watch. So yeah, this watch checks all the boxes for me.
Yep.
I don't know what I would really do to improve it. And the other thing, people complain about the bracelets. Forget about the clasp for now. People complain about the bracelet. I think the bracelet is very well made and super comfortable. The edges are smoothed. It's got a lot of flexibility in it. I wouldn't change a thing. And the end links are fantastic. The fit and finish on the end links. I mean, I can't think of anything I would change on this bracelet.
Yeah, the design is pretty much there, but the thing that puts it over the top to me, that you're just going to have to go experience, is the way it feels. And I can't emphasize that enough. Having titanium that has the special way that it's made to where that it doesn't scuff or scratch, that's basically having your cake and eating it too. You know, you're just not going to find that on another titanium watch.
Yeah, and the other thing is it because of the way it's finished, because of the shape of the lugs, the way they contour, and because of the way the back is cupped, the whole design of it, and the rounded edges, these edges on the end of the case, these are all rounded, you know, whereas on the Submariner, it's slab-like, right? It's all chiseled, and this makes it more comfortable. When I go like this with my wrist, you don't want to be pushing against something that is a sharp edge.
Yeah.
You want everything to be rounded and shaped like that.
One of the things that I get made fun of quite a bit is when I'm trying on a watch, I'll do a push-up test to see how it feels doing push-ups.
Absolutely.
And if it feels decent or you can't feel it at all doing a push-up, it's not going to give you any problems down the road.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. Okay, if you want a great watch, you should educate yourself. I think I already. Okay, Bob is still there, buddy. Okay, your opinion, Maurice Lacroix Masterpiece Double Retrograde. I guess that's some micro brand watch. Grand Seiko, pronounced as Daimyo. Daimyo. Should literally be the name, Daimyo.
It's got to be something simple that everybody can say.
Is a feudal Japanese lord. Topper Jewelers is one of the best. Sam, what size are your wrists? I already asked that.
I'm going to have to figure that out.
I'm going to have to get a measuring tape.
Yeah.
I've seen Timeless Luxury in Dallas in some online listings. Looks like a quality firm.
Oh, they are. They're the best.
To get somebody from Timeless Luxury to be a regular on our show. We're trying to get together a regular talk show, a watch talk show. And so, Sam, think about some people that we could possibly have, you know, if we've organized like a monthly talk show or something, you know.
Absolutely. I got a guy in mind already. One of the guys that was out there when I was with my buddy Chuck. He bought his first watch out there at Timeless Luxury, and he let us look at everything and gave us beers and, you know, treated us like family. I'm sure he'd be happy to be on the show. Yeah.
See if you can make some contacts. Okay. So my Grand Seiko is a SBGH 255G. The Godzilla 47 millimeter, but hardly known. It's there. Fits perfectly. I have a 9-inch wrist. Wow. Clay's a big guy. So that's a the H. I think that's a high beat. high beat diver, 47 mil. That's the big one. Let's see. And here's a guy says he does not have a dealer near him. Well, yeah, a lot of people don't have dealers now. There aren't that many dealers. That's why it took me so long to get one, is because there was never one near me. And then Steve got the franchise, and then I dilly-dallied, and a couple years went by, and I finally got over there to see them, and that was it. I couldn't leave the store without one once I saw it in person. But I had
the watch game, Craig. The watch game is a journey. Sometimes in a journey, you're gonna have to cover some distance. So you may have to, like I did, you may have to go out of your way to go to the right place.
Absolutely. GS Titan and the 36 millimeter Datejust. Good Rolex GS meal deal. There you go. Teddy Morgan.
That's Chuck.
I tried on the Titan at Horologico in both stainless steel and titanium. I was blown away how light it was. My issue is that the 44 millimeter is just over the edge on size for my 6.25 inch wrist. Yeah, so he's got a 6.25 inch. So that's
oh yeah, mine's well over that then.
It's smaller, yeah. Yeah, but if you're gonna wear a big watch, that's the one to wear because of the weight savings. So if Sam, in case you don't know the backstory, I got the what is the model? SBDC007, the Shogun. The Seiko that is titanium, the Seiko diver, titanium, Japanese market watch. I got that, and I did a review on it, and I actually wore it for a couple of years, and I proclaimed it like the best watch ever made. I was so happy with that watch for all the reasons that this watch is great. That watch is great. Super comfortable on wrist. Now, it has the coated titanium that is also extremely scratch resistant. The Dia Shield coating that makes that watch extremely hard to scratch. Actually, it's harder to scratch than this, okay? But the downside to that is it can't easily be refinished because of the coating on it.
Right. It's not forever, yeah.
Yeah, so, but I'll tell you what, that thing held up great. I wore it for 2 years. It held up great. The only reason why I moved to this is the accuracy. Otherwise, I'd still be wearing that SBDC007. It was that awesome a watch. Now, what happened was, in doing my research for that watch, doing the review and all that, I stumbled across a video by Arizona Fine Time of the GS diver, this one. And that was like 5 years ago or whatever, right? And so that was when I first learned about these watches. And then I ended up getting the SBDC007, and I wore it for a while. Then I wore the Apple Watch for a while, and all the while I'm rotating these with my Day-Date. And then Steve opened up his AD dealership, and I finally made the trek over there. And of course, I couldn't leave without this watch. So that's basically how I ended up with the watch. So yeah, I mean, I think that maybe this is just going to remain just a very exclusive thing where there are only going to be certain people that are going to be aware of what these watches are all about and in a position where they can get one either physically based on their location, where they can actually get to an AD, or they have the money to buy one or whatever. And so it might just remain for the foreseeable future a fairly limited item.
Well, yeah, but I still think that, you know, people like yourself and TGV over Urban Gentry and all the watch content creators on YouTube, if they're serious about horology and its values and they want to speak to the merits of different brands and things like that, even though they're not getting paid, I still feel like it's, you know, it should come with the territory that you want to educate the people on the merits of the Grand Seiko. And, you know, I think it's basically what you're doing. It's education, I think, is what's going to keep it growing.
And Tim has done a lot of that at the Watch
Yeah.
Box. He's done some very favorable reviews on Grand Seiko. So I've heard almost no one that is in that community of YouTube reviewers, and I've heard almost no one badmouth them.
Right. Here's Brian. He says, Craig, have you gone swimming or diving with the Titan?
I haven't gone diving. I'm not a diver. I'm trying to remember if I've swam with this watch or not.
No helium escape valve.
Yeah, well, you don't need that. Nobody dives.
Yeah, that's right. That's for like the 1%ers.
Yeah. I don't think I have. I have put it in a glass of water in one of my videos. I have a shot of it sitting in the water, but no, I don't think I have, because I didn't go to Florida last winter and I didn't go this winter. Last winter, I actually went for December. I was there for the month of December, and I don't think I swam while I was down there. Trying to remember if I did. Of course, if I did, I would have had it on my wrist. But I don't think I did. It's always kind of cool in December down there. So to answer your question, I don't think I have, but of course I wouldn't hesitate to. I mean, I would not take it off my wrist and put it in my shoes so that then when I come back, it's gone. I mean, I'm not that stupid. The easiest way to lose a Rolex or a Grand Seiko or Patek Philippe is take it off your wrist. That's the easiest way to lose one. Because then people that know that you have it, that you own it, notice that it's not on your wrist, and then they go looking for it. It's just the way it works. I mean, you put it in the glove box of your car or something, right? And you're at the beach and you go swimming or whatever, and you got that tan line on your wrist, right? And they see the watch isn't on your wrist. The thief is going to try to find out where it is. Trust me. If they know you've got an expensive watch, they'll know where to look, and they will find it. So it's not smart to take an expensive watch off of your wrist. I'm just saying. Okay, so let's see what else we see here. TGV did a great, fully comprehensive video on the history of Grand Seiko. The Grand Seiko was the first Japanese watch to be chronometer certified. Yeah, there's several really good videos about Grand Seiko.
I highly recommend his channel. Yeah, you and TGV have been doing Grand Seiko pretty good justice.
Yeah, and Hodinkee did a really good series of videos. I think that's how you pronounce them. But for me, I would drop the word Seiko. Brand prestige plays a huge part. People still associate Seiko with $5 calculators. Yes,
that's education again.
Yeah, if it were me, I would drop Grand Seiko from the doll. I just put the GS there. That's what
I like that.
I would just have the GS there, and then I would have, like you say, I would have nicknames for the various models to make it easy for people. Right? It's not easy for people right now to figure out what watch is what. And the other thing is, I would get away from this limited production thing they're on. I mean, every other watch they come out with is a limited production, this or that, right? That doesn't give them time to build any brand loyalty or anything. The Datejust was made for like 60 years, right?
Right.
I mean, you should just get a model that works and just keep making it. Maybe do little changes with a different dial or whatever, right? But just keep making it and keep promoting it and keep building that brand for that particular watch. And don't do like Rolex.
In that same vein, Craig, do you think that in doing so, if they did keep, the Titan, it's a long-running product line, should they do different colorways, or in your view, would that take away from it?
Well, they could come out with one with like a blue dial or something. That'd be fine. I have no problem with that. They do that with Rolexes, right?
Yeah.
They'll come out with a sub with like a different color.
Everybody seems to give Omega a hard time about that, and they say it takes away from the value, or at least that's what I've heard.
If you do it too much, then it's not special anymore.
Yeah.
If you do it every other week, then there's nothing limited and there's nothing special about it. You're just constantly doing this special thing.
One of them doesn't become iconic. Yeah.
So I think they should just, first of all, they also, I think, have more models than they need. They should get rid of some superfluous models. And the other thing is having every single watch, just about, except for the diver and just a few exceptions, having them all have those sword hands, or whatever you call those hands that are on the snowflake.
Yeah, sword hands.
I mean, they should come out with some that have hands more like what an Explorer 1 has, right?
Okay, yeah.
They should come out with hands that are loomed. They should come out, like the Date 8, Rolex Date 8. You can buy it with hands that are loomed. You can buy it with hands that aren't loomed, right? You can buy it with a black dial. You can buy it with a white dial. I mean, that's what they should do. They should think about the practical uses of the watch and how do I meet people's needs. Everybody is not going to want a non-loomed watch. If they're buying a watch to use all the time as a one-watch solution, they're going to want loom, okay? And so that takes out like 80% of the Grand Seiko line right out of their consideration. So little things like that, they could very easily address if they really cared, but I don't think they care.
Well, the funny thing is no one really does loom like Seiko, if you ask me. I mean, that's...
Absolutely. And you can have loomed hands that look great.
Yeah.
It can be done. Like I said, the Rolex Date 8, look at it. A lot of their hands choices do have loom. Some of them don't, but some of them do, and they look great. Limited editions fragment the lineup like Omega does. Absolutely. Rolex limits the supply of watches, but they don't introduce a model and then kill it off. That doesn't build model recognition. Exactly. It's I don't know. It just like they have ADD or something. And make a smaller watch. Absolutely. They've got to make some 36 mil watches. And I think if you look at the Crador, they have some pretty thin watches that are spring drive. So I don't buy the argument that you can't make a thinner watch and still have the spring drive. I think you can. And the problem is a lot of these newer watches, they seem to think that thicker is better. You look at a lot of the new Omegas, they're pretty damn thick. And even some
and they just made the new Omega Seamaster Professional 300M is a little bit thicker now too, but that's because they got a sapphire case back.
Yeah, well, I could do without that too. I mean, I don't need a display case back on my diver watch, for God's sake.
Well, they did that because they got the 8800 in-house movement in there now, so that's what they're trying to show off on.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't need to have that. If it adds to the thickness, I sure as hell don't need it. So yeah, some of those watches are way too thick. That is why I love my Seiko SARB 035 dress watch. It's 38 mil, white sunburst dial, polished case, signed crown, loomed hands and indices. There you go. SARB 035 Superb watch for the money. Yeah, well, Seiko makes some fantastic watches.
Yeah.
And like I say, they could really meet everybody's needs with just a few tweaks to their lineup. They need an Explorer type watch, right? They need a watch that's like about 38 mils or even 36 mils would be fine, with a black dial with real legible loomed hands, very similar to an Explorer type look. They don't have anything like that in their lineup. Seiko needs more smaller, thinner models and more adjustable class. For goodness sake. Yeah, the micro adjustments. That's the other thing. That's the other reason why I got rid of the Snowflake. There's no micro adjustments. I don't want to have to pull a half link out twice a year just to size for the change of seasons. I'm lazy like that, right? And some of the newer Rolexes, like the newer Jubilee bracelet, they've gone away from micro adjustments. I wouldn't buy one. I want the micro adjustments. GS is the Lexus of the watch world. There you go. Absolutely. The best. You cannot beat a Lexus, not with a stick. All right. Anything else that you can think of that we should touch on, Sam, that we haven't?
I wanted to see, as far as your experience and view about the spring drive movement, what are people's overall opinion on the movement? Because I feel like do people kind of turn their nose away at it because it's not a traditional automatic movement, or in your view, are people more accepting of the newer technology, being that it is a superior movement, or do they just discount it because it's not a traditional automatic?
Okay, a lot to unpack there. I'm going to put a link in the chat of my page just in case anybody doesn't have that link, and I'll put it in the chat here in the Hangout for us. I assume you've seen that page, CraigShipp.com/Craig.
I have, yeah.
And there's actually a lot in there about the topic of the spring drive and the durability of it and all these kinds of things. And there has been some debate. There are some people that say that it's going to be prone to failure and that the electronic components are a Achilles heel and all this. And then I've had other people that seem to be experts on the subject that have said the opposite, that the electronic components that are in the spring drive that are part of that regulator system, that they're extremely robust, and that the way it's designed, they should last a very, very long time. In other words, many decades.
Do you think that people are apprehensive about it, though, because there is no long-term data that supports the longevity of the movement?
Well, exactly. And that's the thing. We don't know. We really don't know how long these components are going to last. But people that seem to be pretty knowledgeable on the subject of these kinds of components and the longevity of them, I've read specific articles about it where they lay out, the argument. And basically what they're saying is those components, the way they're designed and the simplicity of it, and the lack of components. I mean, it's a very simple mechanism that from the integrated circuit to the coil, the electromagnet, all those things, the way they're designed, that they're overbuilt and extremely robust, and that the likelihood of failure is very small. Now, I did have a guy, Eric, from Eric's Learning Channel, that bought a entry-level Grand Seiko off eBay and got it, and it had some accuracy problems. It jumped like 20 or 30 seconds one day, and then it did it again, and so it had some quirky consistency problems. So it had some kind of an issue going on with it. And I have heard of maybe one or two incidents like that where spring drives have done squirrely things, but very isolated, very rare. Steve said, he's my AD, that he basically never sees them come back with problems.
I bet.
You can't say that about other watches that he sells. And he sells a lot of Grand Seikos, especially since I started doing my videos. He sells a lot of them.
And so, Craig, can I sidebar for a second? I know you're coming up on time. I want to get one more question in for you. So, homages. Now, as I said before, the watch game, as I like to call it, it's a journey, right? There's not a lot of people out there that are going to be able to have the time to save up for, drop the coin for a Rolex GMT Master 2 Pepsi, right? So, in my opinion, do what makes you happy. Obviously, don't go with replicas or fakes, but I'm not going to eat somebody's lunch for buying a $600 Steinhardt Pepsi GMT. I just want to make sure that people, you shouldn't worry about buying homages. It's all about the journey. Do what makes you happy. Don't worry what other people say. But I was curious to get your opinion on the matter.
Well, I've done reviews on a few of them. I did a review on a Steinhardt. I had one for a while, and it was a pretty good watch. I would probably, for the money, I would probably buy an SBDC 007 used. I think you could probably buy one for about the same money that you would pay for the Steinhardt, maybe a little bit more. And I think you're getting a better watch that you'd be happy with long term, as long as the accuracy is as long as you're okay with the accuracy or lack thereof.
Yeah, and I just use that as an example. I kind of meant more broadly, like go with a homage to figure out if it's what you like. Because sometimes you wear something on the wrist and you think you're going to like it and you realize that's not your style.
The reason I said that is that watch is a typical diver's watch, which a lot of people will say is a copy of a Rolex. A lot of people say that this is a copy of a Submariner, right? You know, I don't think so. I don't think it, you know, I think it looks like a diver's watch. I don't think it looks like a Submariner per se. Of course, it's got some of the features of a Submariner. Just about all divers watches have a lot of these same features. There's a reason for it. You know, the reason you have the black dial and the big hands is so you can read it underwater, right? And the reason you have the bezel is so you can time your dive. So the fact that divers watches look similar doesn't mean that somebody's copying somebody else. And so the reason that I brought up the SBDC 007 is if you're buying the homage because you're trying to save money, my point is that by the time you get up to the kind of money that you need to spend to get a high quality homage watch, like is it the Ganart? I think Ganart, is that one of them? The one that's like $1,000? Anyway, that's like one of the highest quality ones, I think, from all the reviews I've seen. I haven't actually seen one, but from what I've seen, it's a fantastic quality watch. And you can buy them used on eBay for about $700.
You might as well keep going, is what you're saying. So if you get to that point.
What I'm saying is, for that kind of money, for $700 or even $500, you can buy the Seiko SBDC 007, and you're getting the titanium that is diashield coated, that's going to be very durable. You're getting an extremely comfortable watch. It's every bit as comfortable as this watch. It's actually a little thinner than this watch. Okay. So you're getting, I think, a fantastic timepiece. The only downside is you're not getting the accuracy of this watch. Of course, you're not going to get the accuracy of this watch with hardly anything unless you buy a quartz. So that's my thing, is I would probably rather take the same money and buy something like that. And there's a couple of other Seikos that you could buy also. That I think for $500 you can get a hell of a Seiko, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
And I think that would be a better move than buying the homage.
I think so too. And part of that is going to be doing what you've been preaching this whole time. And what I always say is go through the research, try them on, watch the videos, you know, educate yourself. That's basically going to be my resounding closing comments here. Educate yourself, do the research, know what you're getting into.
Absolutely. Let's see if there's any more comments we haven't. Let's see here. Okay, so I'll show the strap code link. Strap code makes some good bracelets as far as I know, so I'll show that link. Somebody shared a link.
Brian mentioned Parnas. Yeah, that's a decent homage brand there.
Spring drive detractors remind me of people who hate hybrid cars. They give all these worst case scenarios that haven't seemed to come true. Yeah, I mean, I drive a 2004 Prius and it's still going great and has original hybrid battery pack in it. And, you know, that everybody was saying they're going to fail, you know, and all this stuff. And it runs great. If I had to replace the battery pack tomorrow, I'd be still in good shape, as much as I've saved on, you know, gasoline. Okay. Got one last week. Okay. I don't know. How's the bracelet for you? I guess they're talking about the bracelets. Fits very nice, decent quality. Can't fault it. Yeah, I've heard that some of the higher end strap code bracelets are pretty good. Being a Seiko movement keeps very accurate time. It's just a lot of fun confusing people. Okay, I'm not sure what that. So the SBDC 007 was not very accurate. That's what I didn't like about it. And so that's one of the reasons why I got rid of it. When I say not very accurate, it was off about 5 seconds a day. And some people would be like, oh, that's fine, right? But I want more accurate than that. Now I'm totally spoiled, so I can't go back. I can't even wear my date. It's just not accurate enough. I mean, that now I've got this, and I've got the gold dress watch, the 9F quartz movement dress watch. And between those two watches, I'm set. If I'm wearing a suit or something, I just wear the gold dress watch, and it's dead on accurate. And then every other time I'm wearing this, which is dead on accurate. And I like that. I was getting ready for the show today, and I was up there shaving, and I glanced at my watch. Oh, geez, I've only got 2 minutes, right? And I knew that the watch was telling me the truth. I knew that I had 2 minutes, not 1 minute and 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, it gave you confidence. You're able to trust it.
And it makes a difference to me. I'm sorry, but it makes a difference to me. And do I want to fumble with my phone and take the phone out of the holder and launch it to read the freaking time all the time? And people say, well, I've got a phone, I don't need a watch. No, I don't want to have to go through all that just to check the time. I want to just glance at my watch. So I don't know. I guess I'm a little old school, but that's just the way that is. So anyway, thanks for coming in. And I'll be doing some more broadcasts all this week. So if you ever want to come in, you're welcome.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks for the invite. I'll try and get Teddy and a buddy, or maybe somebody from Timeless Luxury, to come on and give us some feedback.
Cool. Matter of fact, I will plan on about the same time. I'll try to do a show each day all this week. So I don't know what your schedule looks like, but if you want to pop in, just let me know, and I'll send you the link.
Will do. I got Christmas this week, so I may have trouble getting away from the wife and kids, but I'll do my best.
Yeah. Just catch as catch can. I mean, days that you can, just pop in, and then once I get back after the first of the year, I'm going to be a little bit swamped with some things, right after the first of the year. And then I'm going to try to get with Steve, my AD, and try to put together that monthly show. So,
that's right. I may be talking to Steve before too long, or him, Timeless Luxury, for my own Titan.
Yeah. So, I would play them off against each other. Get the best deal you can.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop the broadcast. Hang in there just a second. Everybody, hey, thanks for watching, and click the bell. Make sure you're subscribing and click that little bell so that you get notifications. And same time, same place tomorrow, everybody.